Hey guys, Joe here from Vintage King, and I'm here with Fady from SSL. First of all, for anyone who doesn't know, who is SSL?
Well, SSL, Solid State Logic,
Mm-hmm.
we're a console manufacturer originally. We have our foot in live consoles, broadcast consoles,
Mm-hmm.
and music consoles. So we're renowned for that. Our history, our background comes from music consoles originally. And we now also do music products, recording studio products.
Very cool. And you're
Yeah.
here today to talk about Fusion.
I'm really excited to talk about Fusion. It's just one of those things that we haven't been able to talk about for so long that now that I can talk about it, I'm like, yes. Yeah, Fusion is a brand new product that we're rolling out. It's a mix bus processor. So it's a multi-effects unit that provides you all of the tools necessary to polish the mix for your mix down. So what we realized, and again, a lot of the products that SSL makes they have their foot in quality first, and probably the next closest thing second to that is workflow. And what we realized was a lot of people were struggling. They often struggle creating that combination of plugins that makes the best result out of their mix. So they'll play with variations. They'll listen to other users using different plugins, and they try to come up with the perfect recipe for the mix bus. And in the end of the day, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a large mix, a hefty mix in some cases, and just have a lot of good content in it. So the combination of effects on the Fusion was, carefully designed to make that as easy as possible.
What's the makeup of the unit? What are the individual parts that create this Fusion?
Right. So starting with the input-output stage, we stuck with what we do really well with the 9000 series super analog circuit. We've added a very clean input stage, a very clean output stage. Input, obviously, you want it to be perfect mirror image of what's actually happening outside the unit. And of course, when you're introducing all this extra gain inside the Fusion, you want to make sure that the output bus is handling all that. So there's a lot of input gain and output gain available with those super analog portions. The other thing is that we added a high pass filter, switchable, so you can get rid of some of that low end rumble. We added the vintage drive. The vintage drive is kind of reminiscent of some of the older SSL console Mac mix buses where
Driving the mix
it'll
bus.
help you drive the mix. It'll introduce a little bit of natural compression as well, and you can variate that as much or as little as you want. We've also introduced a brand new EQ called the Violet EQ, which is a high and low shelving EQ. Again, about polishing that mix, adding a little bit of bump on the low end, a little bit of bump on the high end, or vice versa. There's also the high frequency compression. What we realize a lot of times when you're mixing in the box, your high frequency tends to be a little bit more brittle. So, that'll help you get that under control.
And is that switchable frequency dependent?
It is, yeah. It's all sweepable frequency. The crossover allows you to target specifically what you're trying to eliminate. So you could even use it creatively if you're trying to, let's say, target the snare drum and back the snare drum a little bit. You can actually use it for that.
Cool.
But ultimately, we were looking to kind of give you that tape saturation roll off that you get. So when you're hitting the tape a little harder, you'll lose a little bit of that high frequency at 15 kilohertz kind of thing. And lastly, mid-side processing, which is like, the voodoo of the industry. It's like, how do you work with mid-side? And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to make that as easy as possible. So the mid-side processor on the Fusion was designed to really focus on the side signal in relation to the mid. So you're effectively altering how wide the side signal is and how much gain it is in relation to this.
Without introducing any kind of phase anomalies.
No phase anomalies, especially. Yes.
That's
absolutely.
something that is kind of typical with mid-side processing. You can
That's what makes it so difficult and a lot of people tend to steer away from it. I mean, we were thinking about those mastering guys who might want to do some variations on that. So we even introduced, there is an insert point on a unit. So the insert point can be used either pre or post equalization. So you can have a pre EQ or post EQ, but you can also apply it to the mid-side processor, so that you can add different equalizations to each portion, or different compression, or whatever combination of other effects that you want to apply. The elements that a well-renowned mastering engineer would appreciate is having the capacity to drop in a set of effects onto the mid-side processor. So we added that button So the insert can be, when you hold it down, you're able to variate the source, so it can source the mid-side processor pre or post.
And that's the kind of cool thing with mid-side processing, is that, especially for mastering guys, sometimes it's not like to 6 and all the way out the speakers. It's kind of just a little bit of a nudge, and it just sets it out. And
that's what you're going to notice about the Fusion. It's not going to be the kind of thing like I am Fusion, hear me roar, and you're going to be able to hear it on every mix that it's ever been placed onto. It's really going to be that subtle polish that when you turn it off, you realize, oh, it didn't do much, but what it did do was considerable in putting the mix in the right place.
So what else has Fusion got to hold?
Yeah, there's one last thing, which is a transformer.
In SSL?
Yeah, I know the angels are weeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So SSL has developed its own transformer specifically for this, and so again here you're able to engage it and disengage it. So it just simply, it's on or off, and how much you apply that into, how much you mix of that is dependent on how much input gain you apply into the input stage. So again, it's designed not to really like distortion or something like that.
Just add weight.
Add weight. So you'll immediately notice it on things like on like your snare drums or your bass guitars, especially if your bass guitar needs to be like really dirty or something like that. It's wonderful on that. And it's not necessarily just a mix bus mastering processor. We've handed it off to people who are using it on stereo drum buses or guitars or acoustic guitars. Change the mid-side processing on an acoustic with 2 different microphones. It does wonderful things with that.
So whereabouts in the kind of process does the transformer hit?
It hits pretty much last in the chain. So just before the output section. Yeah. So it's the very last element in the signal path. And we did that for a reason, because we knew that it was going to introduce its own character. Yeah. So keeping that character as clean as possible was the best place for it, was right at the very end. It's just that last thing that the SSL will do. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So then this unit, is it a distortion box? Is it
Well, it's not a distortion box. What it is, it's a mixed bus processor. So that basically is a combination of different effects. That so it's not going to be the kind of thing that is going to put its imprint in a very deep way into your mix. It's going to solve various elements, like take care of your high frequency distortion, add some of that analog bite that you get out of an SSL mix bus, for example, and just generally deal with opening up your mix, giving it more depth. Giving it more bottom, giving it more top.
So it's not something that's like, let's have a box just for saturation. It's like the cherry on top for this is my mix.
Exactly. Yeah, it is the cherry top. Again, it goes back to what we were thinking, who we were thinking of when we made this product. We wanted someone who can be a seasoned user to enjoy the use of this product, but the non-seasoned users who are just embarking outside the box, they're always, looking for ways to improve that. And we didn't want them to be dissuaded from something like this. We wanted to make it easy for them to turn a few simple knobs and get to the result that they're looking for and get to that result quickly. So it took a long time for us to put together the right combination of elements, but I think we did. I think we got it perfectly. And it's that last little bit. It may not amount, functionally into a lot, but what little it does do changes the mix so completely, and in a lot of ways it teaches you too where are the flaws in your production process that could have been avoided. It'll help isolate and fix some of those
Something
elements.
Something to mix into. Fantastic.
Exactly.
So I think you've got some examples for us to take a listen to.
Yes. I wanted to bring as varying different examples as possible. So different styles of music. some electronic music, some acoustic stuff, right off of the live console, unplugged material.
Very cool.
I also brought some things like pop music and individual instruments, so you can also hear how it would react on drums, bass guitar, electric guitar.
Because a unit like this could be pigeonholed into a single
Absolutely,
genre.
yeah. There's absolutely no reason why you can't simply take that one bass track or that one drum track or stereo drum track and send it right out to the Fusion, tweak it, and send it right back into the digital workstation and render it in place. So, yeah, absolutely
Awesome.
can be used for individual
Well,
stuff.
I can't wait to take a listen.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
All right. All right, I'm going to start us off with a live track. This is a band called Lower Than Atlantis. So we took this track right off of their live session. Yeah, so it's called Ain't No Friend of Mine. And it's a good example of just live, unmixed, raw material.
I've gotta call it a day because you ain't no friend of mine. No, no, no. Said I'll leave this place, you have your space and time. Oh, better off anyway, yeah, yeah. But I should have seen the signs. Hope you know you ain't no friend. I hope you know you ain't no friend of mine. Pretend that we'll be friends, it's the end. I'm gone, I'll brush it off. I've learned a lot in love and loss. Move on. Had fun, but now we're done and I'm doing fine. Never looking back. Miss me now that I'm free and you're left behind. Getting back on track. I'd be the same if I realized I'd be the same as you. I guess that you were the one who got there first this time. I've gotta call it a day because you ain't no friend of mine. No, no, no. Said I'll leave this place, you have your space and time. Oh, better off anyway, yeah, yeah. But I should have seen the signs. Hope you know you ain't no friend. I hope you know you ain't no friend of mine. I should have known I'd be alone, I suppose.
The next example is a fully mixed pop track by an artist called Admit, and the song is called Upside.
You never wanted to be counting days, counting so endlessly. It feels so wrong. You saw a reflection in a window pane of some photo fit that now belong. I don't know why you ended up in here, a sign of fear, or what went wrong. I can't imagine that you dreamt of this, but it's been too long. It's the upside of being down. Share the little things you do. Start it up and kick it through. Don't be polite. I got a feeling that you got your groove. Now you're in the mood. Oh, what went wrong? I can't imagine that you dreamt of this, but it's been too long. It's the upside of being down. It's the upside of being down.
So let's do a little hard rock. We got a track by Dexy, and it's called Dearest Friends.
Everybody
Okay, next I'm going to try some acoustic guitar. So this time I'm going to really show you how we can use the mid-side processor to really create some dimension to the track. So next we'll do some bass guitar, and this time I'm going to really drive the input stage so that we can really get much more pop out of the transformer.
So there we have it, guys, the first listen to the Fusion from SSL. Sounds pretty fantastic from what I've heard so far. If you'd like to add one to your studio, feel free to reach out to your audio consultant or visit us online at vintageking.com. Thank you very much, Fading. I'll speak to you soon.
Oh, it's my pleasure.